guys, and welcome to or back to the Pause in Pursuit podcast with your host, Summer Clark. Look at that, we're already on episode 2 of season 2. I've decided that Tuesdays are going to be my new recording days, as in I'm going to try and do that every single week consistently, because it means that I have a proper weekly update for you all, if anyone cares about my life, which I guess if you're listening you kind of do, hopefully. Or maybe you just care about agility and want me to shut up. Either way, I'm going to do it anyway, soz. But yeah, so Tuesdays are my recording day. It is currently 3 minutes past 7 p.m. on Tuesday, and you know what? I'm loving this audio-only life for podcasting. I am, no joke, laid in bed, under my covers, with my PJs on. I'm all showered, all moisturised, waiting for my tea to cook, and I'm in no presentable state, but it doesn't matter because I'm still podcasting, and I absolutely love that. I love that I'm done for the day. I'm literally done for the day, and now I can just chill and talk. It feels like less of a chore, basically. That was my wrist that just clicked, by the way. I'm very achy and tired, and I don't know what's going on with me at the moment. I just feel a bit weak and just a bit COVID-y, to be honest. Like, not in that sense, not like ill, but I'm just feeling really fatigued, and I don't know why. But I've heard a lot of other people are feeling similar, so maybe there's something in the air. I don't know. Let me know if you're also feeling a bit tired, bit run down. But the spirits are high. Still hitting the gym, still getting all the things done. Started the new job, but I'm not going to talk about that yet because that is one of my questions today. But anyway, a few days ago, I put a question box up on my Instagram story and asked you guys to ask me questions to answer on today's episode as kind of a big catch up after my little 4-month hiatus from the podcast and from a lot of things in general to do with the agility world, to be honest. But as we know, I am back, and today we are catching up. I've got 16 of your guys' questions to answer. So without further ado, let me get into my weekly recap because it's going to take all of 10 seconds because I didn't do a lot. I went to see a band at Toxicity in Nottingham a week ago tonight. It was very good, very good. Had some ciders, enjoyed that. And then business as usual, really. PT session on Friday. What else? I'm just looking at my calendar. Oh, I had another osteo appointment. Everything's still good with my Achilles and my back. Had a bit of a hip niggle last week, so took that week off legs at the gym and just did upper. But that's what I mean. I keep getting a few funny little niggles lately. I don't know what it is. Nothing serious, but I'm just feeling a little bit like my body's just giving up on me, you know. But anyway, hopefully no more injuries. But yeah, all good with the osteo. Then Arrow had his physio appointment on Saturday. We drove him down to Sammy Toe, SJT Physio. I did some posts about it lately because honestly, since I've been going to Sammy, Arrow has almost completely stopped knocking poles. I'm not even joking. She treats him, she massages him at our monthly sessions, and then I go away and do daily strength exercises with him and some stretches for I heat pack and do some stretches after agility days. So on the evenings he does agility, he gets that. And it's making the world a difference. And it only takes like 10 minutes a day. It's great, honestly. It's so important and something. Well, I mean, I did a post about this, so most of you have seen. But honestly, get your dogs to a good physio. I think any dog should have it really, but especially our sporting dogs, because we ask a lot of them, don't we? Physically and mentally. But, on their little bodies, we want them to age like gracefully and athletically, and we want their careers to be as long as possible. So that's something I think is so important, and I can't even express what a difference I've seen in Arrow since taking him to Sammy. But anyway, that has been my week, really. Started the new job yesterday, but like I said, not going to go into that yet because it is a question. But let's crack on and answer the first question from you guys. So, going straight into it now. Do you hope to make Arrow an agility champion? Someone wants to know. So, honestly, if anyone was asked this question, is anyone going to say no? Yes, I would love to make Arrow an agility champion, but I'm not going to say that's in my goals list at the moment, to be honest. First and foremost, I would like to, win a champ ticket, just one. And then obviously I need to win 2 more after that to make him a champion. Or Crufts, I guess. So, because if you get, say, 1 champ ticket and make it to Crufts and then win Crufts, you're automatically a champ, aren't you? But that's even less likely, I think, than the 3 tickets, or it's harder. But yes, I do hope to make Aaron an agility champion. But if it doesn't happen, I'm not mad about it, if that makes sense. But my goal, I do want this to happen, I really seriously am making this happen, is him winning 1 champ ticket. And then whatever happens after that happens. I will keep striving for more champ tickets. But as long as we've got that 1, which is in my goals now, then I suppose after I've got 1, my next goal will be 2. And then my next goal will be 3 in champ. Do you get what I mean? So I try not to set all my goals in one go. But yes, it would be lovely, wouldn't it? But making a dog an agility champion in my career is on my long-term goals list. But I'm not going to put that pressure straight onto Arrow as my current dog. But it would be great. And I think he can, honestly. I think he more than has the capabilities there. So number 2 is, what are you looking for in an agility dog? So I'm guessing this is just, what do you look for when choosing an agility dog? Because I'm actually not looking at the moment. But yeah, in an agility dog, see, it's really hard, isn't it? Because when they're so young, you can't really tell that much of them, like meeting them at 2 weeks old, 4 weeks old. Do you get what I mean? But when I'm choosing a puppy, I think half of it, as cheesy and cliche as it sounds, is you kind of know, if that makes sense. You just know which one is for you. Or I've had that experience anyway with Earl. Obviously I wasn't looking for an agility dog with Earl, but he crawled into my lap. I just felt that connection with Ethel. To be completely honest, I was looking for an agility border terrier in Ethel, but we knew we wanted a girl because at the time we thought 2 boys, Earl and a boy, might fight or whatever. I was young and didn't know what I was talking about. Anyway, that's what me and my parents were worried about. But Ethel was the only girl in her litter, so automatically I was like, I'll have the girl, and I love Ethel to pieces, so that worked out well. And then with Arrow, obviously I was looking for an agility dog in Arrow, and he's come from agility lines, so kind of you'd think all his litter mates, would be very similar, but I think I don't know whether it is because he was the only black and white one, but because the others turned into roans and he just didn't, and I kind of loved it. I was like, oh my god, quirky, he's different. He was like a pick-me puppy. I was obsessed. Anyway, yeah, I think that drew me to him, obviously, in an appearance way, but also to me, he seemed the most curious in the litter. I love a puppy who seems really curious about the world. So, wants to interact with them. Sophie's breeder had loads of things in their pen, interactive stuff to really, develop their senses, proprioceptive stuff, stuff that made noises, stuff like that. She was brilliant. And Arrow was just really interactive with all of it, using all of it to its advantage, exploring all of it, using his senses, initiating play with his litter mates, and when I went to visit him, coming up to me and my parents enthusiastically, showing no signs of nerves, which is funny because he did actually end up being nervous, but that's besides the point. This is what I still would look for when I'm going to visit a new puppy. But that kind of proves as well that you can look for all you want in a puppy, but you still have no idea how they're going to turn out. There was nothing about Arrow that told me he'd be nervous, and he was. So, I think, as awful as it sounds, a lot of it is luck of the draw. But, yeah, you kind of, which is really a reason why you just got to go with your heart, your gut, your instinct, all that cliche stuff. But, yeah, I just kind of, I know when I meet a litter, but usually I look for, curiosity, alertness, just being really curious about their environment, being up and about and busy. Busyness is good. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But at the end of the day, I gotta feel a connection with that little dog. So number 3 is, my dog is buzzing around on competition fields. What should I do to gain her focus on me? I'm assuming buzzing around means really hyperactive, barking, maybe spinning on the lead, being hyperactive, over alert, at a competition. By fields, I don't know whether you mean when you're actually in the ring competing or whether you mean when you're walking around the rings, around the show. I'm just going to assume both. So, yeah, I'd say it's quite common for a dog to be sort of really overexcited at a show, because there's a lot going on for them. Think about it. It's a really unnatural environment. There's lots of dogs, people, noise, moving dogs everywhere. It's kind of unnatural, isn't it, really? So honestly, I think the best thing you can do is to do lots of boring work around the rings. So even if you're not competing, just take your dog, well, especially if you're not competing, actually, take your dog to shows, have some treats, whatever your dog values the most, reinforcer-wise, on you, have those on you, gives your dog more of an incentive to focus on you, and do work round the rings and train. So, do heel work round the rings for food and almost drip feed your dog with their reward. Do you get what I mean? If they're a foodie, or keep playing tug round the rings. Anything that's interactive with you and of high value to your dog, do that. So they learn that you are way more exciting and way more worth their attention than all the things around it. So you got to do that groundwork before you actually think about anything else agility wise, really, if that makes sense. So definitely do lots and lots of work around the rings if you can. As far as in the ring goes, again, people have different opinions on this, but prioritise fenced shows with fenced rings for a while, because your dog is less likely to get distracted. Kind of set your dog up for success first and practice in those environments. Practice in like a training environment at home, in fenced off rings, in shows with maybe just 2 rings, or, stuff like that. Training shows where you can give your dog rewards in the ring, stuff like that. And really build up the focus there before moving to a big show with every single ring on show, if that makes sense. So build it up gradually, and just more exposure, keep exposing your dog to the competition environment while doing all that training. And you should be totally fine eventually. It's difficult because I don't know your situation personally, or how old your dog is, how much experience they've had in and around agility and their history and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely it's just that boring base work, unfortunately. The just training around the ring, sitting around the ring, treating your dog for looking at you, for doing little tricks around the ring, for engaging with a toy around the ring. And then as far as in the ring goes, yeah, you should probably focus on those shows where you can do a bit of training, and your dog's not just going to automatically bolt to the ring next to you. Do you get what I mean? But yeah, that's what I took from that question, buzzing around on competition fields. But yeah, focus is something you can work on and should work on away from agility. So do it on walks, do it at home, do it in the garden, do it everywhere you go. So it should, so it happens on cue. You have a focus command, watch me, or that just their name, and they should look at you, treat. Where you can use that in other environments. But yeah, focus is something that should be built to have outside of agility to start with. So definitely work on that. So, by the way, if you want to DM me for more information or want to explain your circumstances a little bit more, please do DM me. That's fine. So, tips for competition nerves. I'm awful. Honestly, right, so am I. I still get nervous. Like, I'm better than I used to be, but I don't think it's ever going to go away. So please I hope that brings you some comfort, knowing that even experienced handlers that have done loads of big scary stuff like I have still get nervous. Especially Crufts, bloody hell, I was quite nervous. But you kind of you don't learn to get rid of the nerves. You learn to use the nerves to your advantage and just embrace and accept them as something that's just part of the routine, if that makes sense. Trying to turn them into excitement and adrenaline to absolutely push it out there and perform at your best. So my biggest tip, and it's all psychological, it's all psychology, and I am really quite interested in psychology, like sports psychology and stuff like that, I think is really interesting. But if you can feel the nerves, like if your stomach starts churning, think that's excitement. Does that make sense? And it takes practice but kind of just think, that's excitement. I should be feeling that. I'd be weird if I wasn't feeling that. And also, if you weren't nervous, it meant you didn't care, which probably means you're not going to try as hard, so you're probably not going to do as well. So it's a positive thing. Do you get what I mean? But honestly, the best thing I can say as well is just more experience. Just get yourself out there, do more competitions, and it will get easier as time goes on. And just remember, I know it's really hard, and I still have to tell myself this, every show will be a dim and distant memory. Every run will be. You'll literally forget about it in a few months' time or a year. And then you'll be nervous about something else. So remember, big picture, that it's actually quite irrelevant in the big scheme of things if you're thinking just your average show. Do you know what I mean? Your average run at a show. So try and put things into perspective and reframe how you think about nerves, from nerves to excitement and adrenaline. Adrenaline, we need adrenaline. That's literally the body's way of preparing us for performance. It's natural, it's biology, like we can't change it. So think of it, it's just your body reacting to a situation where you need to be alert, you need to be on your top game, you know, and stuff like that. So it's completely natural. Get excited when you feel those nerves. Do you know what I mean? And I know it's hard, but that's what I try to do anyway. Probably not very helpful. But anyway, another thing is make sure you have that pre-competition routine in place. So for example, if you have a groom, it's great. Like, I'll be warming myself up. I've got my own little pre-run warm-up routine where I'm kind of in my own head thinking, you know, going over the course, etc. in my little zone. That helps calm me down and keep me focused. And then while I'm doing that, my mum's sort of walking Arrow around and toileting him and stuff. But if you don't have a groom, you could walk your dog around, toilet them, put them back, do your warm-up routine. Then go back to and then I'll go back to Arrow, or you go back to your dog and warm them up and have a routine with them that's the same every time. And then you go Q and you psychologically walk the course in your head, you know, walk in your head, basically. And then you do a few more warm-ups with your dog in the queue. So try and have a set routine that's as similar as, well, ideally the same in every single run, because that will, one, take your mind off just standing there worrying about the run because you'll have something else to focus on, and two, it will make you think I've done everything that I normally do and I've done everything that I can to set this run up for success. And then prep as well, just as long as you know you're training, as you know, training well outside of competition, you know you put the work in, so let that make you a bit less nervous, because just stand there and think, I've put the work in, you know, my dog knows how to do all these skills because we've trained it. But yeah, those are my best pieces of advice for that. But I feel you hard, and I think most people do. What shows are you venturing to this year? Excellent question. So let me pull up my show calendar. Okay, so this weekend I have Nottingham. We are there Saturday and Sunday for Cruff Singles Jumping Cup Agility Dog of the Year. It's a champ, isn't it? I thought it was a champ. It is a champ. Yeah, it is a champ. For some reason, I haven't put champ on my calendar, but it is a champ. Anyway, so yeah, Nottingham, Saturday, Sunday. Then the next Team GB training day is on Monday. So 3 days of agility. And then I'm actually going down to London for my new job for a content day, so I can collect content at the store on Tuesday. So that's 4 very intense, very long, tiring days. So if I'm alive this time next week, round of applause to me, honestly. So we've got that, and then the weekend after we've got Hinckley again with their Saturday and Sunday Champ and Cruff Singles, and then the week after that we've got Thames. So I'm excited for that one. Party, we're camping at that one. So that's Champ, Singles and Casey Stakes as well. I always want to call that Olympia, and I'm really annoyed that it's not anymore because it's just annoying. Anyway, yeah, so Thames. And then after that, we've got Axtane. And we're hoteling at that one. So we're also doing the Saturday, Sunday. So Champ, ABC and Casey Stakes. Now, that seems like a lot, doesn't it? But before anyone says anything, I do understand that, you know, a lot of people are given the advice to do as little shows as possible on the build-up to an event such as EO. However, the disclaimer always goes with that statement of, you know your dog best, okay? And everyone knows well, I especially know, and most other people probably know by now from all my posts about him, that Arrow does better with consistency. The more he does in the show environment, the better he is after that. Because of his past, I think, with nerves and all the things, the more I can do with him, honestly, the better he performs, the happier he is, and the more confident he is. So we're doing all the things, and obviously I'm prioritising shows with champ, singles, Crufts qualifiers, KC stakes, because those are my goals now. I want to qualify for all of those, get a ticket, etc, etc. So those are the 4 that I've got booked coming up. And then I haven't got anything else booked yet, but I have some potentials on here. I have a potential of Wraxall, because that is singles and KC stakes. Agility Club, I'm pretty sure I'll go to that. And that is champ, Crufts singles and KC stakes. Saying that though, Wellingborough is also on the same weekend and it is loads closer. And that's Crufts, ABC and stakes. Okay, I'm thinking I'm probably going to do Wellingborough over Agility Club then, just because of the distance. And then later on in the year, in July, we've got, what have we got? RVA, champ and some YKC Crufts qualifiers. Then we've also got Derbyshire for Crufts, ABC and some YKC. What else have we got? There's Empingham. What else do I normally do? So that's kind of a rough idea of what I've got written down as potentials, but nothing set in stone. I've only got those first 4 entered. And then obviously EO in August, then KCI, and then Dogs in Need. So 3 weeks of camping in field doing agility with friends. Can't wait, honestly. That is literally my holiday and I can't wait. And then, yeah, I haven't got anything planned after that. I really haven't, because that's a long way away for a start. But all the usual usually. Check back in with me near the end of the summer and I'll tell you what shows I've got planned for near the end of the year. But yeah, that is pretty much what I've got coming up so far. Very exciting. I've lost my podcast notes now. There we go. So, what is your favourite type of cheese? Amelia, you ask this every time and I love it. It's my favourite question. It's so hard as well. So if I'm going to like grate it onto a meal, like a chili or something like that, or like egg and beans and cheese on toast, I'm just going to have red Leicester. Or like in a toasty, I'm going to have red Leicester. However, that's for at home. But if I'm going out somewhere to eat, I do love a bit of brie, right? A brie, bacon and cranberry wrap. I will always bring it back to this at the Potato Crazy stall that you get at shows. Becca, you will know what I mean. It is the best thing I've ever tasted in my entire life. And I stand by that. It is so good. So I do love a bit of brie. But I do love, I can never say this, camembert. That is up there as well. The Mackey's camembert cheese bites at Christmas, chef's kiss. Camembert rings, is it? Where you dip the bread in, chef's kiss. So yeah, red Leicester is like the standard go-to. But then if I'm going out and being fancy, brie, ideally with cranberry, and camembert with bread. They're my staple cheeses, to be honest. But I don't mind some blue cheese, honestly. It looks and is vile, really, isn't it? It's literally mouldy cheese that you can eat, but I don't mind it. All right, what's next? So someone asked, what are your future puppy plans? People ask me this all the time, and I don't have any, to be honest, at the moment. I feel like I have so much more to achieve with Arrow, like so much more. That I like I've said this so many times, but I like focusing on one dog at a time. I don't want to do more than that. I just feel like I don't have the time or the brain capacity or the energy to do more than one dog, in like work properly on more than one dog at once, if that makes sense. But obviously I do want another puppy at one point. Once I feel like I've achieved everything that I can with Arrow, in the sense of there's no more I can get out of him. That is my my way of thinking, and that's kind of how I do it. With Ethel, it was the same. I got Arrow when I thought, I can still compete Ethel for a good few more years, so it's not like I'm going to exit agility until I get another dog. But I just trained her up to be the best version of her, if that makes sense, as an agility dog. Oh, I'm saying all the little cliches today, aren't I? I hope you're enjoying and not throwing up. But anyway, yeah, so honestly, yeah, once I feel like I've got everything I can out of Arrow, then I'll start thinking about it. But at the moment, not thinking about it. But I definitely would. I will be getting another puppy at one point, obviously. It is how it works, isn't it? But yeah, nothing exciting going on. And then what other breeds would you own? So, I don't know if I'd have another spaniel or not. I think I would, but I think I'd go for a girl. Just to kind of see, really, just out of curiosity, to test the waters. And, kind of just compare a girl spaniel to my experience with Arrow. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. So if I was to get a spaniel, I'd get a girl next. However, I also love little collie crosses. So collie paps, collie poodles, collie... What's the other one? Collie cocker. Duh. I especially love a collie cocker, actually. So yeah, I don't think I'm ready or want a proper big collie anytime soon. But I would love to start venturing into the world of collies, maybe with a little collie cross of some description, medium or small. I do love my medium or small. One day, I'm sure I will have a large collie, because you just got to, haven't you? But that's very, 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 very far in the future. But yeah, those are the kind of breeds that I can see myself owning. Little collie crosses or something, or just another spaniel, honestly. Because Arrow is a king and I do love him. Would you recommend that regular competitors take a step back from agility for a few months like you did? See, this is hard, because the only reason I took the step back really was because of my Achilles tendonitis. So if you're not injured and you don't need to, then I guess not. But it depends where your head is, because at the same time as the Achilles tendonitis, that really took a toll on me mentally. And I just really struggled to feel it at that point, because I couldn't run. So I was just and I just wasn't in a good headspace. So for me personally, that was perfect time to take a step back for me to recover my Achilles, and also mentally, and take a step back mentally. And it did do me good, as I discussed in last week's episode. But most people do that over the winter anyway, don't they? They take a step back, do less shows. I just did it at a bit of a different time, I suppose. But would I recommend that regular competitors do it? Not for no reason, but if you feel mentally or physically like you need to, yeah, I would do that. If you have a reason to feel like you want to or need to do that, yes, I would, because you do come back feeling more refreshed, and with a newfound enthusiasm for it. Or in my experience, that's what's happened for me. So yeah, it completely depends on your situation. Not for no reason. If you're enjoying it and you're loving it and you're fit to do it and everything, your dog's fit to do it, no, carry on, by all means. Don't make yourself do it because it was good for me. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, if you're feeling mentally fatigued from it, or you've had a bit of enough, or you get an injury or a niggle, yeah, just take a step back, let that pass, get over that, and then come back to it. So, how will you avoid future injury after your Achilles tendonitis? So this is a tough one, because I do a lot to prevent injury already, and I actually still get injured, probably as much as the next person in agility, or maybe more, because I do a lot of things outside of agility, like the weightlifting, and I did the running outside of agility on the street and stuff like that. So yeah, I think all I can do is carry on. I think sometimes it just is what it is, and you're going to get injured. Do you know what I mean? I think my Achilles tendonitis was just because I did so much, and I'm not going to stop doing loads. Well, not an excessive amount. That sounds bad. Not loads, but I'm not going to stop doing all the exercise that I enjoy, because I enjoy it. It's not too much for me mentally. It does keep me fit physically. But sometimes if you just have a really active lifestyle, you're going to get a few things crop up. Do you know what I mean? And then that's when you just got to sort of recover it and then get back to it. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of how it goes if you're doing a lot of sport and a lot of exercise and a lot of activity, especially strenuous ones like heavy weightlifting and agility, because agility is very unnatural movement, isn't it? Quick change of directions on the ankles, etc. And then even street running, it's very repetitive motion. And I think that's what mainly did it for me, to be honest, because you're pounding the pavements and it's concrete and it's hard and it's going straight through your Achilles. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to carry on doing what I'm doing, build up again gradually after the injury. However, I'm going to carry on doing my warming up before exercise and cooling down afterwards. Do my stretching and mobility to keep myself flexible. That lessens your likelihood of pulling a muscle or tearing anything, etc. And listen to your body as well. I think that's the best way to do it, really. You've got to listen to your body at all times, and you know how you're feeling. You know what's hurting, what's not. So listen to your body. Don't force yourself to carry on through niggles or through, those days where your body's just saying, no, I've had enough. Do you know what I mean? I think that's the best thing for me, because I am a very kind of strict routine kind of person a lot of the time, and I'm kind of competitive with myself mainly as well. And I am good, I'm disciplined, and I do just make myself do things and push through. But sometimes that's not a good thing. Sometimes you do need to just go, hang on, let's just take the, in my head, lazy option and just not do anything today because I'm tired and my body's really aching. And if I go and do the thing, then I might pull a muscle because I can feel it in my quads, or I can feel, do you know what I mean? So it's being sensible and just listening to your body, and common sense. Do your warm-ups, do your cool downs, be sensible with it. And apart from that, there's not a lot you can do, unfortunately. And it's going to happen if you're a sporting person. If you're an athlete, it happens. Look at all these famous tennis players getting elbow surgery and stuff. It is what it is. It's the human body. We're a piece of meat. So, how is the new job going? So today I completed my second day in my new job as a social media manager again. Very exciting. So yesterday was my first day. It was great, but it was kind of a bit more just getting to grips. Do you know what I mean? One of those kind of getting to grips kind of days. Today was more productive. I felt more in a routine. I felt like the ideas were flowing, the creativity was flowing. It went quickly. Had some exciting meetings with some people, etc. as part of the company. And no, so far, I've only been doing it 2 days, but so far so good. I've rearranged my desk situation as well, because my old desk was facing into the very corner of my room. And honestly, it was just depressing. When you just need to sit there and stare in front of you and just think, about what you're doing. I was doing that into a wall. So now I've got my other desk and put it at the foot of my bed. So I'm staring out into my room, and it's way better. But it's a bit of a botch job at the moment. So I need to properly reorganise my room. But anyway, fun fact. And I can look at my rosettes and just think about agility while I'm doing it as well, which is great. But yeah, no, really good. Loving it. I love social media managing. And yeah, I'm just so grateful, and I'm just super grateful to have this amazing job opportunity again, doing something that I really love, because a lot of people don't love their jobs, and to have an interest in something that you do for work is a blessing, really, isn't it? So no, it's going well. What are your long-term career goals, or do you want to be a social media manager forever? Bloody hell, forever's a very long time. So my very long-term career goal that I'd love to do for the rest of my life is be an agility trainer. That is the end goal. But obviously a lot goes into that. I am working on it behind the scenes, quietly. It's a lengthy process. Nothing exciting's happening, but, it is in my mind. That is my end goal, to have Pause in Pursuit agility training. That is the end goal. And it always has been since I was very, very little. So when that happens, because it will, I will make sure it happens one day, whenever that is. That will be a huge full circle moment for me. But yeah, that is the goal, and something I'm excited to work towards. And I'm excited to make it happen and be proud of that. And just train agility forever. I love it. That one training day I did with Nikki at Unleashed Potential. I loved it. I just loved it. It was so good, and it's so satisfying seeing the handlers and the dogs it all come together, and you give them some advice, make a tweak, and it all comes together and it works, and they get it, and they're so excited, and it's great. However, social media manager at the moment is my current dream job. The agility training is my long-term future dream job, but at the moment, in the position that I am in every way, in my life, financially, everything, this is my perfect job, social media manager, that I'm doing on a part-time basis. I wouldn't want any other job at this point except agility trainer, but I also understand that, you can't just jump into that, because you have to build it, venue equipment, clients, blah, 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 insurance, all the adulty things. But being a social media manager, I do love it, and I would like to do it for as long as possible until I can be a full-time agility trainer. I would like to be a social media manager. So we're on track at the moment. But yeah. And also, I think, a few years ago, I didn't even know that social media management was an option of a career. So who knows in a few years what might crop up, or you just got to let these opportunities come to you, really, haven't you? Who knows what's going to come up in a few years for me or any of us, really. So yeah, but for now, very happy with being a social media manager. So how have you found fully returning to social media and posting regularly again, as I know it can be toxic? This is so great. This is such a great question. Fine. Honestly, I'm fine, used to it. I love social media, as we know, but yes, it can be toxic. And again, going back to the earlier question about taking a break, I did take a break from social media as well, a little bit. Like, I posted what I needed to post, still kept on going with my sponsors and stuff, obviously, because I'm so grateful to them and I want to give them the exposure. So I did carry on, I carried on posting my training videos and stuff, because I do enjoy it, but I didn't post as much as I usually do and as much as I'm back to doing now. But I'm enjoying it. I mean, I've only been posting regularly again for like a week and a half or something, but no, I love it. As I said, social media and content creation is one of my passions. So no, I'm loving it. As far as it being toxic goes, yes, it can be, as can anything. I think it's especially prevalent in kind of communities and clubs, in anything really. So yeah, agility, social media, the agility world on social media, yes, it can be very toxic and bitchy, but so can anything, and I try and stay out of it. I don't look for all the drama when I go on social media. I use social media to create content and engage with people that make me feel happy, and I enjoy consuming that content, if that makes sense. So you kind of just got to not expose yourself to the toxicity if you can. And if it does come to you, which it always will, just try and remind yourself, if you get hate or anything like that, that person's not happy, are they? Do you know what I mean? Like, you just got to remember that, you're doing it for you, and you're always going to get some people, aren't you? But often the people that are toxic on social media would never be toxic in person to your face. They would never come out and say these things to your face. Some would, which is completely fair enough. Like, fine, if you want to say it to my face, please do. But yeah, no, I haven't had any really toxic experiences, which is great. But yeah, even like Agility Net and stuff like that, it all goes on, doesn't it? Like, I'm convinced people enjoy drama and conflict at this point, which I don't get, because I can't be doing with that. I don't have it in me to be doing with that. So I just don't really get involved. I don't really look. I prefer focusing on the things that make me happy, and that, I enjoy focusing on working towards my goals, and, the stuff that's important to me, rather than everyone else's drama or any toxicity that goes on. So no, I'm totally fine. I haven't had really any of that. And when I have, I'm quite good at kind of just addressing it, brushing it off, and just remembering, toxic people on social media or in general life usually aren't happy. It's not your problem, it's theirs. So just chill. Everyone just chill, okay? So, 2 questions left. You post a lot of food on your story, including fun foods in quotation marks. I know exactly what you mean. So like chocolate, ice cream, all the nice things. How do you eat such a lot and stay so fit? Thank you for a start. That's a compliment. I do eat a lot of food, yes. I always have had a big appetite. I've always had quite what I think is a fast metabolism. I've always been fairly lean, no matter the food I eat, if that makes sense. However, the main thing at this point in my life, I'm eating a lot. I'm technically in a bulk, so I'm in a calorie surplus because I'm trying to gain muscle. So that's why I'm eating more. And I am gaining muscle, so it's doing its job. But I have to be training hard in the gym and lifting heavy weights as well. Do you get what I mean? For that to be put to muscle, if that makes sense. So yeah, at the moment I'm very active as well. I do at least an hour of walking a day. I spend about an hour to an hour and a half in the gym 4 times a week lifting heavy weights. Obviously, I do agility midweek and over the weekend, I used to run a lot as well. Haven't got back into that yet, but I will at some point. I'll do some swimming. I'm just an active person, so I'm burning a lot of calories. And at the same time, I'm trying to eat more than I'm burning so that I can gain muscle. So that's why I'm eating so much food. And I just love food. It's just one of the joys in life, isn't it? And you got to include, and you got to include the food you love. You got to include a bit of chocolate. I'm obsessed with chocolate and cake. I'm not bloody cutting that out. No way. And I'm also counting my calories and keeping track of my macros at the moment with the PT that I'm working with to make sure I'm eating enough to reach those muscle gaining goals and eat enough protein and stuff. So if it fits in your calories and it fits in your macros, eat it. Do you know what I mean? But obviously, I still prioritise whole foods and healthy in quotation marks foods. I like to go by the 80-20 approach. So, 80% whole nutritious foods, nutritionally dense foods, and then 20% foods that I just love, like the chocolate and stuff like that. And I still drink alcohol when there's an occasion to. I still eat chocolate, I still eat cake, etc. Pizza, give me all of it. It's just balance, isn't it? But yeah, I'm training hard at the end of the day. Last question then. So, what are you currently working towards? Life, agility, career, etc. Excellent question to finish off this episode. So, I feel like life and career is kind of similar. We all spend most time doing our jobs, don't we? But yeah, so career-wise, obviously, I've only just started with this company being a social media manager. So that is my main focus as far as career goes at the moment. I want to be an amazing social media manager for this company and really grow with the business and build myself up in the business, on the marketing side of things. But obviously behind the scenes and in the back of my head, I'm still working towards this eventual career goal of being an agility trainer. So I'm always, I suppose my lifestyle is agility, so I'm always working towards that. As far as agility, working towards things in agility goes, I'd say, obviously, I want to qualify for Crufts again in the main arena. So that's obviously what I'm working towards, doing that again for next year. And also, I would like to qualify for Olympia. KC States, you know what I mean? Olympia, not Olympia. So I'm working towards that. And doing all the qualifiers and obviously the champ ticket as well. So working towards in agility, basically it for me is entering all the things that I want to do. So all the shows with all the qualifiers and the champ classes, which I'm working towards that by entering and going to all these shows. So those are my agility goals at the moment. And that's pretty much it, really. I don't think I'm working towards anything else particularly in agility. Obviously building back up my social media, my own personal social media, and this podcast as well. Got some very exciting guest ideas. I've got 3 definite people that I'd like to get on. I need to still contact everyone. But yeah, I'm sure you guys will like all the ideas that I have coming up. So I'm obviously working towards building the podcast back up and my own social media and stuff. But yeah, that is pretty much it. And that is all of the questions. So I hope everyone enjoyed this week's episode. Don't forget to follow the podcast and give it a cheeky 5-star rating or review if you would like. On Spotify and Apple Podcasts, either or both if you're feeling generous. We're also on YouTube. Who's we? The podcast is also on YouTube. I put it back on YouTube, again, just as an audio version. But that means you've got 3 platforms to listen to it on, depending on your own preferences. There's a cute little graphic in the background for the YouTube channel as well. So, yeah, make sure you do all those things. And basically, come back next Wednesday at 8 p.m. for yet another episode of the Pause in Pursuit podcast. Might be a guest episode by then, might not. But yes, I am definitely going to be bringing the guest episodes back very shortly. So get excited for those. Keep sending me feedback of the podcast and episode topics you want me to talk about and guests you want me to have on. I absolutely love feedback, constructive criticism. I'll take it. Send me it all. And if you have any further questions or just want to chat, my DMs are always open. Go follow me on all of the socials at Pause in Pursuit. You'll find me on pretty much everything and anything. Posting very regularly again, which is exciting. So yeah, connect with me on all of that. And in the meantime, have a fantastic week. I'll probably see a lot of you at Nottingham. And yeah, see you then, guys. Bye.